Hey, Facebook. Hey, Instagram. How are you guys? Today is Friday. Yes. So I am Aimee Raupp of aimeeraupp.com. And I am here every week. We're alternating days now. It used to be every Friday. Now it's every Thursday, then every other Friday. But I'm here with you every week at noon Eastern time to talk about really important topics related to women's health, women's vitality, women's peace of mind, women's beauty, inside and out. And yeah, hi. So I want to just start off by saying how much I love and appreciate you all. Already, it's going to make me cry. Like, the second comment on the Facebook is, I love you, Aimee. You guys are amazing. And so I think most of you probably saw my post that went up around 10 p.m. last night about my miscarriage. And we appreciate you. Well, I appreciate you. And I love you too, honey. And I can't tell you how beautiful it is to feel so supported and held and loved and appreciated, and to hear that my story, what my hope was sharing would help lift the shame for others, right? And that selfishly sharing is healing for me as well. So, I want to share with you, this is going to be a two-part series. So today I'm just going to talk about basically my journey to getting pregnant again, and why it was delayed. And then next week I want to share with you what I have come up with after, my 16 years of clinical experience helping a lot of women overcome miscarriage. And then myself going through it, what I have figured out as, what I'm going to call my top 5 ways to help yourself heal from a miscarriage. So that's going to be next week, the 5 ways. This week, I just want to share my story. And I know so many of you have had miscarriages. 18 to 20% of all women have miscarriages. Very few women talk about this. In preparation of sharing the news with the world, as I put it last night, I hadn't yet told my mother-in-law the story. And I told my sister-in-law, and she was like, please share, just in case, because Facebook, you just never know, it gets back. I woke up to like a lot of messages from friends and family who didn't even know I was pregnant. My mother did the same. And so, I think it's healing for so many of us. We get to talk about it, which is beautiful. But I also then got, what happened was, when I shared the story with my family, I had a few people share with me about their losses that I didn't know about, and thanking me, that like some of these women had losses 40 years ago, and thanking me because it's a different time, obviously. And it's, sharing is, that's the number one thing I noticed, was sharing helped me lift the shame. Because of course, immediately, I went to that space of, I'm a failure. I don't know what I'm talking about. The imposter syndrome, if you will, really kicked in. And that was a really vulnerable space for me. And my dear friend, Gabby Bernstein, checked me with that. And she was like, honey, that's your ego. She's 100% right. That was my ego. I was very involved. And I was fortunate to be able to get really spiritual about it. And that has helped me heal tremendously. And I'm going to talk more about that next week, and all the steps that I took. But I know a lot of you for a long time were wondering, like, when is Aimee going to get pregnant? Why didn't she have a second child? Like, here's this fertility expert who gets pregnant naturally at 40. And then, like, where's baby number 2? So I wanted to share some of that with you too, because that's a huge part of my healing journey that I have been very secretive about, and is actually more vulnerable for me than the miscarriage, which, as you can tell, I'm starting to get emotional. But, we had James, and that was amazing and easy. I'm still forever grateful for that. I got, as you guys know my story, I got pregnant quite easily at the age of 40, tried the second time, and it worked. And, my husband and I got married. You can see the picture up there behind me with my mom and my Aunt Sandy. The one up to, it's like this side right up there, that guy. Well, you guys on Facebook can't see it, but Instagram, you guys can see it. I was 5 months pregnant at our wedding. Again, all intentional, because we met, I was 39, about to be 40. Let's do this. We did it. was beautiful, you know, and my intention was to then get pregnant again, probably by like 43. At about, so I gave birth to James right before my 41st birthday. Chinese medicine, we say you should wait a year and a half between pregnancies, especially I had a C-section, an unexpected C-section, not an emergency C-section, but an unexpected one nonetheless, and really wanted my body to heal and feel like, I also wanted to really feel whole again and give James the opportunity to just be with us. And so probably at like 43, I was ready. So that's 2 years ago. I was ready to try again. Around the same time, my husband was going through some intense work crisis and, you know, a big job that was, you know, something really important to him, just went south. And it was pretty messy for him. I would say, I would definitely categorize it as, you know, he had some PTSD over the last, you know, decade in his career. And it was quite significant. It hit home really hard. And, you know, it kind of led to what I now call his midlife crisis. And, you know, he is just turned 48. And, you know, it was a struggle. We went through a lot of really personal things, and we had to deal with recovery and some abuse issues, not physical or anything, but his own self-abuse issues. And, you know, it was, I think, next to my father dying, probably, if not more intense than my father dying. It was the most intense time of my life. And we were in crisis. And I literally was a single full-time working mom for a while because he was not capable of supporting me emotionally the way I needed. And having a second child was just completely off the table. It was just not what he could offer me. He could only really offer himself to heal. And I went through all the stages of that. I went through a lot of anger at him, resentment. There was a lot. And, you know, I think the things that really helped me heal were the support of amazing friends and family. I was very selective about who I shared with because trust was an issue for me. I had some friends who unfortunately just didn't value the trust piece as much as I had hoped they would. And so I got very, you know, internal and quiet and had to go and do my own deep healing. And part of that healing was Al-Anon. I come from a long line of alcoholics in my family. My husband comes from a long line of alcoholics, and Al-Anon was urged to me by one of my closest friends and sisters, Gabby Bernstein. And it was game changer. It was a game changer for me. And it taught me a lot about, you know, this is the work I do, and I give and I sacrifice, and I'm just here for you guys. But what was I doing for me? And that I also fell into this role of really trying to save and heal my husband when it wasn't my job. And in fact, when we met, the number one thing that I was working on in my life at the time was that I wanted to call in a man who would nurture and support me, because I am, as you guys know, I'm a lover, and I want to fix and heal everybody I possibly can. And this is what I want to do. Right. And so, when we met, you know, I called in this man who would nurture and support me. And he's this gorgeous, strong man with, you know, just the biggest heart and so much love and so much kindness. And he fell apart, and that was really hard for me. And then there went my dreams of having another child. And as you can tell, that was the hardest part for me. And so, oh gosh, I didn't expect to get so upset. So I had to put those dreams on hold. And through my inner work and through Al-Anon, really, my amazing sponsor, Courtney, and my dear friends, I learned how to separate. You know, I still am not perfect at it, but I learned how to work on me and let him figure out him. And he had to fall quite a few times, and we had to go through some shit, you know. And so, you know, there was a time, I remember, it was probably like a year ago, where I was just angry. Like, I was like, I want another fucking child. I'm going to take your sperm and go to the fertility clinic down the street and get some IUIs. And that's it. I'm doing this. And he was like, hold up, girl. You know, we were in couples counseling at the time, and you know, so it was at that time that it came up where I was just pissed at him. I was like, fuck you. I'm putting my life on hold to help you heal. And now I'm going to miss the boat to grow my family. So fuck you. I was pissed. I was so pissed. And then I was like, maybe I'll get a sperm donor. I mean, I was out of my mind. And I was a little, there was so much anger that came up for me. And it was so deeply rooted in things that were way beyond what he was going through. This was like childhood stuff. Like I said, this was growing up. There wasn't no active addiction in my family growing up, but it was growing up with people who grew up with active addiction. And I think I learned certain coping mechanisms, and I'm not in this space of there's no blame or anything. Everyone was doing the absolute best that they could do. And I was always so loved and cared for and always knew that. But I was also this like, I'll figure it out. I'll figure it out. And that was really encouraged. And so I had to unpack a lot of that because I was angry at not receiving all the support that I wanted, but also realizing that I wasn't allowing it in. So there was a huge growth opportunity for me. But around that time when the anger was really coming up, you know, it came up in therapy, and Ken said, like, I think you have to choose me or another child right now. I don't think you can choose, but we can't do it. If we have another child right now, like, I'm gone. Not like physically gone, but like, I don't think I can handle it. I think I'll completely break. And, you know, it took me, I'd say, like a week or two. And, you know, I remember coming to him, and I said, you know, I choose you. I choose you over another baby. I choose our marriage. And so that was beautiful for us. And that was so special for us. And it was really, for me, it wasn't like putting my life on hold in that sense. It was like, but the truth is, it's the only person I want to have children with is him. So I'd rather him be whole than force him to do this thing, right? And what do I always preach to you guys? Babies are made out of love. And there was a ton of love in our marriage at that time still. But we weren't aligned on this path, and I didn't want to force it, and I didn't want to. But there was this time where I was like, I'm going and getting the IUI. Like, fuck you, give me your sperm. I definitely was there. So girls, I get it. I know you guys can relate. And then there were moments in between where we would have these really good months or weeks, and he'd say, yeah, let's try. And then right before he would pull out, and you know, that kind of thing. You guys are so sweet. I'm crying with you. Oh, I love you guys so much. And, you know, and I think this is the part that I really needed to heal, and the part that I wasn't being authentic with you guys. Like, there was a crisis, and it was a good 2 years long, and it was the roughest time I've ever gone through in my life. But I was held, and I was loved, and I was supported, and I knew we'd get through it, and I knew we'd get to the other side. But so putting a child between us was not what I wanted to do. And instead, I wanted to focus on healing our marriage and me healing me, because I know that how I show up in our relationship affects our relationship, just like how he shows up, and that he wasn't just to blame, nor were his, you know, his challenges to blame, that I was playing a role here too. So I really dug deep, and I did my work, and I constantly do my work. And you guys know that, you know, if you've been following me for a while, you've seen my spiritual growth, and especially over the last couple of years. And it's because I had to go deep. I had to go deep, and I had to go beyond me and realize too that, you know what, life is good right now. Life really is. And that's where I got to this space. Life is good. My son is the most gorgeous thing on the planet. I'm obsessed with him, you know, and my husband is amazing. And in all of this, like, yeah, we fought, and there weren't the greatest of times, but there was more good times than not. You know, there was just so much love between us, and the all that he put into this, I just respect him so much. And so, you know, and I needed to go through that too. I really needed to. I went through times where I didn't respect him so much, and then there's this space where I really do. And you know, all of it too was like anger for me that came up from things that happened when I was younger that I had to resolve. And so it was all, you know, you're always where you're supposed to be. It was a huge learning experience, and it taught me how to take care of myself better. Healthier boundaries, saying no to things that didn't feel good, walking away from friendships that didn't feel good, that didn't feel supportive or kind, you know, taking space for me, holding the true ones dear. and near, and letting people in and getting the support and the guidance and love that I needed, and getting closer to God or spirit, universe, whatever you call it. That was so helpful for me. So, you know, over the last, I'd say 6 months, things have been great. And we're in a groove again. We bought this beautiful home. It's in the middle of the woods. It's gorgeous. Like, I'm looking at the most amazing fall foliage right now. I mean, my whole office is just gorgeousness. And I got to this space of just really being in alignment, like appreciating, loving my life where it is now and all that's unfolded. And if I was not meant to have another child, because my 45th birthday was approaching, and, you know, you guys know, I mean, I'm an optimist. I'm also a realist. You know, I think 45, 46 naturally is kind of where it's at. You know, it could happen at 47 or 48, and I'm still menstruating and ovulating regularly. My cycle was totally wonky at certain times during the major stress. It was amazing. The stressful events, when we had really stressful months, I didn't ovulate like until like I cycled. I had like 35, 45 day cycles at times. I was all over the fucking place because of the stress. And so I worked hard with my acupuncturist, with my Maya massage therapist, with my herbs, with my supplements to get my meditation, my spiritual practices. I surrendered control, processed the fear and the grief. Because my life, you know, I remember my sponsor saying to me, and, you know, Courtney, I love you so much. You're grieving the life that you thought you would have, and you're not living that life right now. And that was really what was going on. And so as I processed all of that, my cycles became my regular cycles again. And I was ovulating on like 14, 15, 16, healthy, beautiful cervical mucus, which I had always had. It was just really, my ovulation would get delayed during the stressful events. And, so, you know, we moved in here in June, and it was my husband's birthday, and, you know, things are much better. I mean, he's still not working right now, which is hopefully on the horizon for him, you know, so everybody say some prayers for him, please, because he really deserves all the support and guidance he needs. And he's a good man, and he loves his family so much, and we love him so much. But, you know, I was thinking about like, oh, I'm ovulating. Our sex life was really back to like a good space. And I was also back to this place of like, where I just wanted to, you know, to be intimate with my husband because I lusted for him. And that was really special for us. And so in that lust came a baby. I found out I was pregnant about, I think, 2 weeks before my 45th birthday. And we were shocked. I knew when I was ovulating, so I'm not going to say that. And that there was, and I'm going to talk about this in a second, there was some like secret thing in the back of my head that said, I would just love to get pregnant like accidentally, because then I can have my baby and, you know, he'll just roll with it, right? So there was a little bit of inauthenticness going on for me. And that's the space that I want to call myself out for. You know, obviously he was having unprotected sex with me and doing his deed, so he knew what was going on too. You know, I'm not gonna say that like I took his sperm and shoved it up there. No, none of that. We were having sex and things happened. But that I found out I was pregnant. And at first it was a little bit of like, you know, how's he going to handle this? I was nervous. I was scared. I was really scared. I remember coming downstairs right after I took the test, and our sitter was there, and she knows me very well. And she was like, you look so stressed out. Are you okay? And I started to cry to her, and I was like, I just found out I'm pregnant. And she was so happy for me. You know, she loves James, and she knows the love we all have. And she's been with our family a long time. And, you know, she helps us a couple of days a week, and my mom's here to help us too. And I was scared to tell him. I was scared it was going to set him back. I was scared. I was so scared. And, you know, he was a little withdrawn for a while. He looked at the test. He said, oh, so you're pregnant? I said, yeah. And that was kind of it. He was withdrawn. And I said to him, let's not even get excited about this. Like, let me get to the doctor. Let me get some blood work. Let's make sure it's a healthy pregnancy, you know. And then, you know, so I said, so I'll just check in with you, you know, in like 2 weeks. And I just figured I was being protective of him, which I think in retrospect is like, I wasn't really owning my truth. Like, I was excited. I was happy. I was excited. This is something I've always wanted. This is something I've always dreamt of, a two children family. I've always seen myself with two children. And I still believe that I'll have that second child, and, you know, we'll get there. And I'm not worried really about my age, but just understanding that my clock, you know, is nearing, you know. So one spiritual guy was like, oh, you could have children into your 50s. He's like, you're so damn fertile. I don't need a child in my 50s. Like, I'd like one now, you know, so that's my truth too. I you know, whatever. Anyway, we'll get there. But so I kind of let it lie. I called my functional medicine doctor. She got me lab requisitions for a beta, and then a beta, you know, 48 hours later, my thyroid, my vitamin D. My beta beautifully doubled. My thyroid was a little high, so I went on thyroid medication, and my D was low, so I went on vitamin D, 10,000 IUs. I tracked the beta just 2 times, so, and it doubled beautifully. And then I called my gynecologist, who I know professionally as well, and so she said, I'll have you come in at like 5.5 weeks for a sono. Great. And I went in, everything, sac and pole, everything looked great. I went in at 8 weeks, healthy heartbeat, everything looked great. I had all the symptoms, you know, I was really feeling pregnant. I mean, I feel like I filled out, like, I think I gained like 7 pounds in like the blink of an eye, and I didn't change a thing in my diet. In fact, I probably was eating less, but like, I just filled right out real fast. And my husband, for my birthday, got me, so then he started to get like a little more excited, you know, and I think he saw my body change so fast, and he got me a beautiful pink picture frame, and I'll show it to you, that I still have the baby sono picture in there, and I'll share with you why. It's not to make myself feel sad every day, but he got me that for my birthday, and he just kind of cried when I opened it. You know, he didn't say anything, and then, you know, later he said to me, because I think it's a girl, and, you know, he was showing his excitement, and it was nice. He was on board. I just let him come to his own. You know, we had one argument where I was like, I need you to be more resilient than this. Like, life happens, like, you know, you got to get out of your own head, kind of thing. And I think it was a really good experience for us in all those capacities. And then to picture James as a big brother, and what 2 kids would look like. And we got to finish the basement sooner than we thought. And where's mom going to sleep? You know, things like that. Like, we selfishly, you know, it's a five bedroom home, and 2 of them are offices. So we're like, you know, all that stuff. I just started doing videos every day for you guys. I have a whole video montage on YouTube of my, Instagram, of my fertility journey. So I was going to go public with that once I announced. And so I've got, I think there's 14 videos in there between first finding out all the way up to 9 weeks. And I was excited, you know, and I told the girls in my eCourse group, and they were so excited for me. And what I said to them was like, you guys share your guts with me, and I'm just going to share this with you because it is a story of hope. I am 45, and I want the support, you know, and I went back and forth, and my team wasn't totally into the idea of me telling them, but I just made the judgment call, and it felt like the right thing to do. And you know what, in retrospect, it was the best thing to do, because when I miscarried, those women held me so beautifully. They just cradled me, and they sent me the best messages, and they were all reminding me of the things that I've said to them when they miscarried, or how they overcame their miscarriages, or what I coached them through, you know. And so I was in this space of, how could I not have hope? Like, all I do is preach this. How could I not have faith in my gorgeous, fertile body? All I do is hold space for you guys. And I really fucking believe what I say. I truly believe. I heard someone recently criticized me, said I was too positive. Oh, she's so positive. You know, she got pregnant naturally at 40. You know, it's not the right story, because this woman has had her other fertility challenges. I bless her. I send her love. She didn't say it to my face, of course. She said it behind my back, and that's fine. But what I said to the person who told me, I was like, yeah, because I have hope and faith for these women, and because I've seen these radical changes in their health when they do the things that, you know, basically the ancestral diet. When you nourish your body in this way. And then when you nourish your heart and your mind, you are in sync, you are aligned. I believe you should be able to get pregnant in your 40s. I believe you should be able to overcome habitual miscarriages. Like, yes, I believe that. So here I was, you know, when I found out, so 8 weeks, a healthy heartbeat. My next appointment was 10 weeks. And she wanted to do the panorama test, so the blood work. And then I couldn't get the ultrasound until later in the day because the way the tech was. So I went in for those 18 vials of blood on the panorama. And then I went to lunch, went and got my little guy from school, came back for the ultrasound. My mom took James to the bookstore. You know, I get called in for the sonogram. And I see up on the screen, like I see the little nugget in there. But I see the tech kind of like, you know, she's doing this thing and she's got this, she doesn't have a good look on her face. And she just looks at me and she's like, I'm so sorry. And I was like, oh, okay. There's no heartbeat. And she said, I can go get another tech, you know, if you want to double check. And I looked at her and I was like, you know, she had her hand on my knee. She was very special. She'd done all my sonos at this point. Well, I had 2 others. Yeah. I said, how long have you been doing this? And she's like, 25 years. And I said, you don't have to go get anybody else. Like, I believe you, you know, this is sad, but you don't need to get another person to double check. And so she said, you know, I'll give you a couple minutes alone. And she did. And then they moved me to another room, and my doctor came in, who's just adorable and like 15 years younger than me, and was crying. You know, she was so sweet. I mean, it's a little pressure on me, but she was crying, and she held my hand, and she's like, I just didn't see this, you know, ending this way. And you know, when I asked, I said, should we do, you know, a DNC, like, because it was a Wednesday that it happened, and she said we should probably just do a DNC because it's a miscarriage, right? The baby had stopped growing a week prior. So I was 10 weeks, the baby was measuring 9. And so that means for a week, the baby wasn't alive inside of me and my body yet hadn't miscarriage. So I needed a DNC, and I knew that. And I've never been in this situation before. I know some of you guys have. When you know there's not a live baby inside of you, you kind of just want it out. And that's how I felt. And it was like, okay. So we scheduled it for the Monday. That was as soon as I could get in. That was also the week the eCourse was launching. So that was phenomenal timing. But it actually was. At first I was like, holy fuck, I cannot believe I have to launch this eCourse and I'm going through a miscarriage. But then, you know, what happened was all those amazing stories of hope that we shared, all those videos that we went live with, every single one of those women had overcome these insane challenges that I have never experienced. And it was like, if God isn't like throwing it in my face of like hope and faith and belief and like, you can do this, and look at what you've helped these women overcome and how you've held space for them. And all those women knew what I was going through because I was very honest with them, because they're in my groups. And they're gorgeous humans, and they just held space for me. And like, I remember before I went live with Kathy, and like, you know, I give you so much love. She said to me, before we even get into this, I just want to remind you what you said to me when I first met you. You are fertile, and we will figure this out. And I was like, oh, you're so beautiful. She was so beautiful. And then that was that. And we went on and we did our thing. And it's like, here I am interviewing this 44-year-old woman who had, you know, unsuccessful fertility treatments and several, you know, unsuccessful pregnancies. And she was like holding this space for me, and we're telling her story of hope while her belly's out to here. And, you know, I just kind of felt like this is the most divine timing in the world, because I didn't have the space to really, I'm not that kind of person that goes deep and feels sorry for myself. It's just, it's not in my makeup. And it's fine if it's in other people's makeups. It's just not me. And that's something I could probably use more work on to soften a little bit. My one healer today said she feels like a real softness in me. And so, you know, it was kind of incredible, to be honest, to be in that space at that time and to have to go live to all of you guys and really still stand behind my message. And so I've kept this sonogram picture with me because it's hope. And it's, you know, I said this today to Dr. Tanvi, who I saw for my Mayan. I hadn't seen her since everything. And I said, honestly, and I don't know that everyone will get this, but from a spiritual perspective, I am honored to have had this experience. And I don't mean that in a way of like I was deserving of this, or I'm not deserving of all I desire, or that I needed to go through trauma. Not that way, just that I really trust the process, and I am highly spiritual, and I really do trust that this was a visit from a spirit that is guiding me and guiding my husband and guiding all of us, and allows me to be even deeper service to you guys. It's an honor. Do I hope that in 6 months I have another story to share with you, and and I have a healthy growing baby in my belly? I sure as hell do. Let's all pray my husband doesn't get skittish. He seems to be recommitted to trying. We shall see. Again, I'm not a forcer, but one thing that I did learn in this process was I was holding myself back for him, and in a way that was making me resent him. So I have decided to not do that anymore. And I have decided to, prioritize Aimee first and foremost, which I think I do. I think I do a good job at that, but I'm allowed to have everything I want to. You can have it all. And that's, I think, the thing I was kind of saying. And I still am really in this joy of my life is amazing and beautiful. And is everything exactly how I want it to be in this moment in time? No. Do I have faith that it'll get there? Yeah. But is it good along the way? Abso-fucking-lutely. And yes, I did just have a miscarriage. I also then went on to ovulate 2.5 weeks later with the full moon, like boom, boom, boom. My body just went right back, solid. D&C was a fairly easy experience for me. My doctor did it in the office. It was very gentle. It was very loving. My husband was right outside in the waiting room. It wasn't a bad experience for me. I took some Motrin. I didn't really bleed. I went right on my Chinese herbs. I did my castor oil packs regularly. I did acupuncture. I'm just doing all the things to nourish and support Aimee, and I'm letting myself heal. And I know a lot of you have had losses, and the sadness is still with you. And, there's not a ton of grief for me. I think because I got so spiritual so quickly, or maybe because I have so much faith that, this is almost like a sign of like a wink of like, hey, yeah, 45, what doesn't matter. This can happen. This is a possibility for you. That felt amazing. And so it turned out that it's unrelated to my age, the cause of the miscarriage. That was important. I wanted to share that with you guys. So because I had done the blood work before I did the sonogram, the blood work came back 10 days later, as it does, and it revealed that the baby had Turner syndrome, which is missing an X chromosome. So this happens. It's common, a common cause of miscarriage in women of any age. It's not age related. I did a lot of research. I asked all my fertility doctor friends. They all basically gave me, coast is clear. Get back on it. Hi, my love, Megan. I hope you and baby are feeling good. So Turner syndrome, you guys can look it up. It's a rare, sporadic genetic condition that, of course, I had the luxury of having, which does suck. Obviously, you don't want anything wrong with your child, but I also trust, I want a healthy, vibrant, thriving child, and there are people out there living with Turner syndrome. Most of the pregnancies, though, don't make it to term. I think 1 in 2,500 actually make it to term, and they have a challenging life. They do it. They have a challenging life. And so, here we are. So I ovulated, I think, about 10, 11 days ago. And we shall see. We shall see what the rest brings for me. But I thought it was really important to come to you guys and share because you guys share everything with me, and because miscarriage shouldn't be taboo. A lot of women have miscarriages. Most women, if they've had more than one child, they have had a miscarriage. I know stories of my grandmother, having quite a few, and that they weren't really talked about, and it was just what it was, right? And, thank God for modern technology that I found out sooner, because I could have been 6 months pregnant and lost this child. So I do tend to see, it's just the way I'm made. I see the silver linings always, and that's not, I don't have to force that. I just am made that way. I know most people aren't really made that way, but to me, the silver linings it's really realigned me with my truth and my desires. It's realigned my marriage in a beautiful, unexpected way. It's realigned my husband in a beautiful and unexpected way. And it's further enforced to me that the work I do works. You follow this diet, you live this lifestyle, you can get pregnant at 45 naturally. And so, yeah, hopefully we'll do it again. And hopefully that baby is healthy and I get to share that story with you too. But no matter what, I'm honored to have this space and this forum to share. And I hope that my sharing, I don't know, is healing for others, right? Because miscarriage does suck. It does. I kept saying to my husband after, I was excited and he was too. And that was special too, to see how devastated he was by the loss. It brought us closer. So I try to look at things as what can I learn from this and how can I better use it to serve all of you and to serve myself and to serve my life, and that we're all on a journey. And then also it's a gift from this. I see it as a spirit visit, and that's a gift. You're such an inspiration, Aimee. I am blessed to know you. Thank you for sharing. Oh, well, I love you, Kelly. So you guys got lots of comments here. A lot of them are sending so much love. I'm sorry for your loss. Genevieve, I love you, my girl. I know I didn't tell you, but now you know. Susan Testerman, I love you. I love you all. I'm calling out some people that I haven't seen for a while. Mandy. You guys are special. Thank you for sharing. Oh, you guys, thank you so much. Thank you for inspiring us. I'm 39 is more hopeful than ever. Oh, wow, good. I mean, that is my hope. Yeah. Did it end in miscarriage? Yeah. Does that suck? Totally. But it didn't have to do with my age. That was a rare sporadic condition. So I feel inspired too, Mom Toft, I reached out to you. I know who you are, Mom Toft, don't I? You better send me an update. Anyway, I love you guys, and I'm gonna go. Someone said to me the other day in the clinic, I had told her about what happened. We were like basically at the same stage in the pregnancy, and she had had a previous loss, a little younger than me, but previous loss, IVFs that failed, and then got naturally pregnant in her 40s and is having a healthy baby girl. And she said, it must be hard for you to be in the clinic dealing with so many pregnant women. And I said, actually, it's not. It's amazing, but I'm just it's the same thing that it did for me when I was, 40 and just met my husband, who wasn't yet my husband, and I couldn't wait to make babies. Sorry, Instagram, my battery wants to die. You guys are an inspiration, is what I told her. And it really just realigns me with my message. I truly believe in what I preach. I sincerely believe in what I preach. That's it. Karen, you're 44, been following your nutrition plan, and almost 95% sure that I'm pregnant right now in my 2-week wait. Okay, well, I can't wait to hear the news. See, that's what I mean. To me, I'm like, yeah, this works. This works. I'm living proof of that too. This works. The miscarriage is a shitty outcome, but it's still hopeful, guys. I still feel hopeful. And it feels good to have shared the delay in my trying to conceive story, because that was more traumatic for me than, this loss is very traumatic, of course, and sad. But those last 2 years were tough. And I think we're finally on the other fucking side of it. So pray. Okay, so very healing. Thank you, Laura Fletcher. Love you so much. I love you so much. Seeing all around you what you will experience. That's it. That's it, Marie. Thank you. That's exactly it. Seeing all around me what I will experience. It's just I've said that often about getting pregnant at 40. It was I had the luxury of seeing that work for so many women that why would I have fear? I was just well, I have 3 dozen women I can think of right now that got pregnant in their 40s when they were told they couldn't. So I'm not going to worry about it, Yeah, I love you. Still hopeful. Oh, I love you. You guys are amazing. You really are. So thank you. Okay, I'm gonna go. I have to go live in another group right now, and then I have a call. Oh crap! I think I have a call. Oh, I have a call at 2 o'clock, don't I? Okay, I'm gonna go. I love you guys. So next week I have a 5-part plan. So for all of you who have had losses, and I'm gonna welcome feedback next week too. I have 5 steps that I took with the guidance and support of some very in touch people that helped me heal. That is helping me heal. And one of the biggest ones is the sharing, not keeping it in. Sharing and compassion for yourself. Like I have been and continue to do the absolute best that I can do. So I am proud of myself. I am proud of my body, and I continue to be proud of it. And I pray for all of you to feel the same way. It is an honor to be in this body. It's an honor to share space with this beautiful human that I am. And I hope you guys all get to that space where you feel the same about you. Okay. I love you. I'll see you next week. It'll be on Thursday next week at noon. For those of you that are new or just cruised on, you can learn more about me at aimeeraupp.com. Okay. Love you guys. Mwah. Love you, love you, love you.